one thing that I think people need to understand is that, like, once you step towards a whole new life, towards optimal health, once you decide to do that, you might lose everything that you currently have. Like, you might have to change your job. You might have to change relationships. You might have to change, like, there's so much change that comes once you step towards your own optimal health. It's sometimes paralyzing to people.
If you or a loved one have been diagnosed with MS and you're searching for more answers, you're definitely not alone. Hi, my name is Adrienne Scharli. I'm a nutritionist. I'm an integrative certified MS health coach, and I healed my own MS diagnosis over 10 years ago, and I help others do the same. I want you to know that MS can be reversed. And I just launched an MS community where I help people reverse their MS with group coaching, different courses, a beginner course, a 12-week course, guest speakers, lots of resources. There's a free platform and there's a paid platform that's super affordable. So go ahead to my webpage and click the button that says join the community. It's right on the front page. Go to nourishyourway.com and I hope to see you there. Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast and my YouTube channel. I've got both, but I'm super excited and I'm elated to have Matt Embry with me today. He is a big component of the MS world, and he has had a major impact on my life, and I know he's impacted millions of people as well. So thank you for joining me today, Matt.
Well, thanks so much for doing this. We really appreciate people trying to share the message.
Absolutely. And I've got to tell you, you've made a huge impact on my life, and we were talking a little bit before I hit the record button, and I get emotional, right? Because it all comes down to, it's this big circle, right? It's like this, if you throw a pebble in a pond, it makes a wave, right? Mm-hmm. And you don't realize how many people that you impact until it's years later. And I just want to tell you that, yeah, you and your dad have made such a big contribution and affected so many lives. It's incredible. And I just want to tell you real quick, with me, I had my first episode when I was 28 years old. And this is just 3 years after you were diagnosed. Okay. So This was in 98 for me. I was 28 years old. And I woke up, I was numb from the chest down. And that was really scary. And I ended up calling my mother, and she was an ex-nurse. And she said, well, honey, I want you to see a neurologist. And I did that. And he did not give me an MRI at the time, but he did all these physical tests with me in the office, had me walk a straight line, and, that kind of thing.
Yeah, right.
And then he sat me down and I said, well, what do you think I have going on? And he goes, well, if I could bet on it, you probably have MS. And that just hit me so hard, it destroyed me. And I went home, called my mother, and she said, well, honey, we don't know if it's MS for sure. Live your best life. Let's just, keep an eye on it in the next 30 days or so. Well, I did a lot of praying. I know I didn't change my diet back then. I didn't have a horrible diet, but it wasn't great either, I'm sure. But she just said, try to be as happy as possible. Went back to work. And anyway, it dissipated. That feeling, so being numb from the chest down, and it was numb in my hands too, dissipated after 30 days.
Right.
So I was very lucky. So if you want to call it, I was on remission for 17 years, right? So life happened in between and got married. I have 3 wonderful stepchildren. And then guess what? MS crept up again when I turned 45 years old. And that's when I had a blind spot in my left eye. So I went to the doctor, the eye doctor, and he said, well, it could be 1 or 3 things. You could have MS. I'm like, oh my God, here we go again. So then from doctor to doctor, right, neurologist's office again. And that's when I got the full blown MRI.
Right.
And that's when I was diagnosed. And then it wasn't until, I only had the blind spot. I thought, what's the big deal? That's what I was thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And then it wasn't until she gave me a steroid drug. I did a drip for 3 or 4 days in a row, right?
Sure.
And that's when all my MS symptoms came out, along with a major migraine headache. So that's what the drug did to me, right? So then I had numbness, I had brain fog, I had severe fatigue, I had slurry speech for a short time, I had vertigo. It was awful, Matt. It was awful.
Right.
So then I'm almost to the end of my story, but my husband said, honey, we got to tell the kids what's going on with you. And here I am still processing. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I'm in bed with a washcloth over my head. I couldn't work. I couldn't do anything. And so he told the kids outside, it was summer, on the back patio, my oldest son's girlfriend was with him, and she's my daughter-in-law now. So Matt, she had just graduated from Colorado State University in dietetics.
Okay.
Well, guess who was at that university? Lauren Cordain.
Okay. Yeah. For sure.
Yep. So anyway, Sarah came up to Todd after he told all the kids, my daughter cried. My boys were pretty bummed out.
Mm-hmm.
And so Sarah goes, Todd, Adrienne can manage her MS with diet. And I thought, hold on, really? So then I got out my laptop and I looked all around the internet and found Dr. Wall's TED Talk.
Right.
Bingo.
Fantastic.
And that was like when the light bulb went on, Matt.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, oh my God, how come we're not educated on this? Oh my God, how come we don't know this? So anyway, the rest is history. And I healed everything with diet. But then I figured out it's more than that. Okay, well, I got questions for you.
All right. Well, that's fantastic. It's so good to hear that the information got to you. You implemented it, and here you are.
In a roundabout way, right?
Yep.
I was so lucky. So your dad was really instrumental in doing his research for you back then, and finding all about diet. And was it your parents or he or you together that came up with the Best Bet Diet cookbook?
No, the cookbook, that's my mom's. That was my mom's.
That's your mom's. Okay.
Big contribution to the mission.
Okay. Yeah. Has that book changed at all throughout the years? I'm just curious.
No, well, like very minor. Like I think we updated the supplement list with the last run, but besides that, it's been relatively consistent. Like we're close to 10,000, maybe 15,000 hard copies have been sent out, well over 200,000 digital downloads now.
Wow.
Probably more than that, way more than that, but it's just it's doing its thing. Again, that was her contribution, her major contribution to the overall project of trying to get the information to people.
I love it. And I did follow, because I didn't know you at the time, right? So as soon as I saw Dr. Wall's TED Talk, she's got over 4 million views, I went out and got her book.
Fantastic.
And her diet is a little bit different than yours, but I mean, basically the same.
Yeah, I think it's very, very, very similar, and a lot more vegetables, I think. But again, that's not a bad thing. I mean, if you can get them down.
Yeah. But I love the fact that, I mean, they're both protein based, right? The Best Bet, I think, is more chicken and fish, and she allows grass fed beef and things like that too.
Yeah, there are some differences, but I mean the framework of it is very similar. Same with Dr. George Jelinek out of Australia with the OMS diet. I mean, there are a few things that are different, but the majors, the no dairy, no gluten, those types of things, those are consistent.
Yeah. And I've got to say, I had to cut all that out. I love bread and pasta and all that stuff, and you just learn how to live without it. Now your documentary, Living Proof, how long did it take you to make?
We started shooting in 2014, I believe. Just test shooting, and then the big shooting happened in 2015. if you can believe it, 2015, so over a decade ago now, we shot the film. And then it took us a couple of years to cut it, and then it released in 2018, I think, was the release. And then since then, it's been a runaway. I mean, we never could have predicted how wide it went. We're very blessed, and we're very happy that it did. It did what it was intended to do, and that was to reach people. So for people who haven't seen it, it's on Amazon Prime globally in multiple languages. And then someone also stole it and put it on YouTube, which is great. I mean, we're not going to, the point is we want it out there. So if you just go to YouTube and like Living Proof full documentary, it'll come up and you can watch it right now for free. So, and that's the point. I mean, we wanted to get it to people, and that's luckily the world now is far more accessible to be able to do that.
Yeah, no, I can't remember how I came across it. I think, well, I learned about you so I want to read this. So Terry Walls, I'm sure I don't know if you've read her little paragraph in here about you and your dad. Have you?
I don't know if I have. I mean, that would have been a long time ago. No, wouldn't that have been like?
So let's see.
Decade?
When did this book come out? I'm trying to look at when she published it. But anyway, on page 5, I'm going to read this because it's really fun. So she says, then something happened that changed my life. In 2002, my neurology doctor at the Cleveland Clinic noted that I was slowly getting worse and suggested I check out Ashton Embry's MS charity website, direct-ms at direct-ms.org.
Yeah.
Dr. Embry is a geologist with a PhD whose son has MS. And that'd be you, Matt.
That's me.
Dr. Embry's son improved dramatically by changing his diet. So Dr. Embry became an active and vocal proponent of the link between diet and multiple sclerosis. This was the first I've heard of such an idea. She goes on to say, or at least the first time I paid attention. Then she says, although it sounded like a little like alternative care to me at the time, and being a conventional doctor, I hadn't put much stock into what I saw as fringe medical practices. Isn't that funny?
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly interesting how it's changed in the last.
Yeah.
That came out in 2002. That's over 25 years, almost 25 years ago. So a quarter century has passed, and I think that I know that people are far more open to diet being a major impact or having a major impact on a variety of autoimmune diseases, not just multiple sclerosis.
Yes. And even in the last 10 years.
Yeah, it's been a big it's been a big shift. I think actually, oddly enough, I actually think Instagram is one of the major influencers in that world. Actually, I think social media has really helped
absolutely
get this information to people, and also people can see the results. So I know people are very negative about social media these days, but I'm like, I've seen so many good things come from it.
Absolutely.
As a form. So, but again, it's amazing that it's always wonderful to hear that sometimes the impacts, again, like you said earlier, you never know where the impacts happen from the what you put into the world.
Yep. I also want to mention in your documentary, you talk about the MS Society.
Yeah.
And I also want to mention that, I've done a lot of research, and I put this out on my podcast all the time, is how big pharma is involved, and, how they made $30 billion just on MS drugs alone last year. And they're projected to make more. I mean, that's what they want to do. It's all about profit. That's how I see it. And I totally agree with you about the MS Society, because I dug in and did my own homework on the MS Society about 2 years ago. And, it's funny because as soon as I healed myself, right, all my symptoms went away. I wanted to be an advocate like you, Matt. Like I went to these MS Society small little programs. There's one in my hometown, right? They're all over, little meetings. Like, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to tell people what to do. And I'm going to tell people what I did and how they can help themselves, that kind of thing. And I did that, but unfortunately, I didn't get kind of like what you experienced in your documentary. I didn't get the reaction that I thought I would. I went to a couple times, and it's so funny. Like, the people in that meeting would come out and they would bring microwave popcorn and cookies and brownies to the meeting. I'm like, guys, I don't think you're not listening. But then, I did more research on the MS Society, and I figured out, like, you do have to do some digging. They have to put out their annual report on their website.
Sure.
But it's not a nonprofit society. It's a profit society.
Well, I mean, MS is a very lucrative illness.
Yes,
there's a lot of money involved. It's a very complicated medical ecosystem, both in North America and all over the world. And I think that our perspective is, the major thrust of what we do is simply to get people the information. We never tell people what to do. We never give medical advice. We don't, we just don't. We find information that we feel has a lot of utility or value to the patient population, and we distribute it freely. And I understand there's many organizations that make a lot of money off MS right now, and power to them if they're helping people. But at the end of the day, I'm not one of those people. Everything I do is free. Everything I do is volunteer. I have a job. It's all open access. And that's one of my litmus tests for people when they ask me questions about, clinics or things like this. I always say, look, I mean, it's got to be cost effective. It's got to be safe. It's got to work. And so those are our three principles. So if someone's asking for money, you got to really question like right away, I think that if the truth is normally free. And so that's kind of my position on it.
Yeah. Well, and I've got a MS Facebook site too that I've had for a long time, and I came up with a cookbook, and I've really been wanting to help people too. Became a health coach as well. So I can help people, change their diet. Changing this diet was not easy for me. So I know it's not easy for the typical person. Right.
In fact, it's very, very hard. It's very, and I don't want to come across that no one should make money off MS. I mean, I don't want to put in that category either, because I know there's people who are doing a lot of great stuff, like trainers and all this kind of thing. And that's necessary. I'm just not one of those people. And that's, my position, but it's incredibly hard for people to change their diet. Incredibly hard. And it's that really speaks to me. In fact, that's why I'm working so hard to try to develop a pharmaceutical solution to this. And people are normally shocked when they hear that, because I've been put in a camp of non-pharma, and that's very frustrating to me. But I'm like, hey, I've been involved in drug stuff for almost 5 years now, because I recognize that it's so challenging for people to be able to do. So people like you, people need coaches. They need the cookbooks. They need a lot of people need that kind of support. So that's good.
Yeah. Okay, I've got more questions for you. So besides diet and exercise, and that's what I see you as, that's what, especially in your documentary, what you are a big proponent of. Yeah. Is there anything else that you discovered over the years that helped you or helped others?
Yeah, and that's what there is. And that's where we try our best to be able to get the latest and the greatest information to people through our monthly Zoom sessions that are free, as well as we use our social media and our website to curate what we feel is really important information. So for me, again, I try to share this as openly as possible. It's nutrition first. That's number one. Then it's exercise. And then acupuncture has been a huge part of my program early on, not as much now, but early in the early years, it was big. Muscular acoustic modulation, MAM therapy, which we have a whole documentary coming out on. We try to get information to people in regards to that. It's a huge initiative for MS Hope. Digestive enzymes, I try to get information, in particular phytase. Is a big one that I've been trying to share a lot of information on recently. Again, we don't have all the answers, but at least we're opening the door to this. And then it's mindset. it's getting your thoughts in the right direction. It's creating a positive outlook. It's prayer, it's meditation, it's mindfulness, it's the mental practices and spiritual practices that are, different for everybody. And I think that, again, it's not necessarily about me trying to tell people what to do. I just try to share what works for me, and then do my best to try to share other people's stories. So hopefully that answers your question, but it's more than just diet and nutrition. It's a mindset, it's a discipline, it's routine, it's just a totally different way to live. And that can be a gift if people can receive it. Because I try to share with people when they get diagnosed, I tell them, well, I'm like, you did your best, but what you were doing might not have been working. So now you're here. So you're going to have to change what you've been doing to get different outcomes. So then without radical change, don't expect, without radically changing your day-to-day life, don't expect radical change in your outcomes.
Right. So for you personally, is there anything that you changed? Or, what's interesting to me is that when you were diagnosed at such a young age,
Yep.
besides your diet, you were active. You were always exercising.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think, what else do you think contributed you getting diagnosed?
Oh, my lifestyle was terrible.
It was. Okay.
Terrible lifestyle prior. Food, smoking. It was
smoking.
I was eating all the wrong things. Even my mindset was wrong.
Okay.
Pretty much everything. I would check all the boxes of like, and I don't think there's any other way to look at it. That's just how it works. So that's where I ended up. But again, we're talking 30 years ago.
Yeah,
so,
I know.
I was young enough, I think, to be able to do a pretty radical switch. And one thing I will share with people, and I watch it, I've seen it, is education. And what I've learned over the years is that the people who really dig into the literature, whether that be the Dr. Wall's book, or whether that be Dr. Jelinik's book, or our book, or whatever the case, or the science that we post on the website, or the bibliography we have on direct-ms.org, the people who really understand what's going on, those are the people who are the most likely to change.
Yeah.
The people who kind of skim it, or have just glance at it or something, it's not that they're not buying in, they just don't understand it. So even something as simple as, not as simple, but as like cross reactivity, like explaining why milk is likely a major problem, is so hard. It's so hard. And unless people are going to, sit down and take some time to understand how cross reactivity works, why these food proteins could be really problematic, they don't necessarily see it like I see it. When I see milk like poison, I'm like, oh gosh, like I get it away from me.
Yeah.
Because I know how it works. And then, so it's easy for me. And then I also think I had, maybe what was different too, is I knew what the disease could do. So when I was diagnosed, I knew pretty much right away how bad it could get. I wasn't naive to how horrible this disease can turn out. And people say, oh, you shouldn't be driven by fear. I'm like, well, sorry, everybody. Fear has been motivating me for 30 years.
I was.
Like, it hasn't changed. Like, it hasn't. Even this weekend, I was out at an MS event, and I was like, I saw some stuff, and I'm like, oh, I got home, and I'm like, man, maybe I got to start. My conclusion was I got to start making my own bread again. I'm like, I got to tighten up. I can't let off.
Yeah.
I'm 50 this year, and it's like, you never know. And and I don't want that outcome. I want to walk my daughter down the aisle. Like, there's things I want to do. I want to be able to climb the stairs, and I'm 70. These things, they sound super basic, but it's life. And so,
yeah. Well, you and I were the same, Matt, because as soon as I saw that Terry Wall's talk, I threw out all my milk down the drain. I cleaned out my pantry. Like that day, I screamed to the grocery store, bought all these vegetables and quality meats. Like, I just knew. I think it depends what kind of personality you are too. Like, number one, do you believe? Do you believe it?
Yeah.
Look at the evidence. And number two, are you going to get after it and how quickly you're going to do it?
Yeah, it's true. I also had something really weird happen that I've shared in other interviews, but this is true what I'm about to tell you. So I had my first attack in June of 95. Okay. Mid-May, I can still remember it. I had this voice in my head, not an audible one, but this is a true story I'm about to tell you. And it said, you're going to have to change your diet. And it was the weirdest. To this day, it's very weird. It goes into the top 10 weird experiences of my existence. And then a month later, it was like, bang. So I for some reason, I just knew. I was like you. I knew right away. It was just like this, by July, my birthday that year, July 5th. So within like a month, I was in the same place. I just gutted everything. And then got to work.
Yeah. I love that.
But what I will share though, I know one thing I try to tell people now is like, I'm 50, it's 30 years. This doesn't change. And that's another thing I try to share with people. Like, you're in it for the long haul. Like, it does not end. There's no day that's like suddenly, suddenly it gets like super easy. Like, it just doesn't. Like, last night I had to go for a run. It felt terrible. Like, it was just one of those days. I was tired, I've been flying, whatever the case, but I had to exercise. And I got home and I was like, oh gosh, like and my daughter was laughing at me so how bad I felt, but I'm like, I got to do this. And today I feel fantastic. So it's kind of like going into alcohol recovery or drug recovery.
Yeah. We have our non-negotiables, right? Like myself. Now I don't run, but even a 20-minute walk around the neighborhood is a non-negotiable. Like, I got to move my body somehow every day.
You do something. That's what we say. Do something. Like, just do something. Whatever you can do. And then see what you can, what comes next.
Yeah. What's been the hardest thing for you you said even exercise can be challenging for you, and diet, we talked about that.
The hardest thing.
Most difficult things for you to keep on top of?
I mean, it's been so long now. Like, it's just a way of life.
Yeah.
I think that for me personally, the hardest thing has been like going back to the community. If I'm honest, that's been the biggest challenge, because it's like, and I'm not unhappy that I've done it, but it's to step into that, to shoulder that responsibility, I think was really, really, really hard for me. And to actually step into it it's been difficult. It's changed my whole life. But that was not easy.
Are you talking about getting back into the MS community again? Is that what you mean?
Yeah. Making that decision. Because I'll tell you, like, again, I've been in this 30 years. I've seen it all. Like, and what I really see is, like, let's say someone like you. Most people who they read it, they change their diet, we never hear from them again, ever. They are gone, which is not a bad thing. And then I'll run into them like 20 years later, and they'll be like, "Hey, like, I'm doing great," and they're just gone. And I was one of those people. And so for 20 years, I was like, I'm out. I want to go live my own normal, like, whatever normal. I don't believe in that, but I want to go live that life.
Yeah.
And then very, very, very few decide to do what you're doing, which is why, when you wrote me, I immediately said, yeah, because it's like, I know how hard it is. And it's important because you never know who watches this. Like, you don't know. But it's really hard, because it changes your identity. It changes, like, now you have to, like, you're supporting, you've got to live it. You're now being watched. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's no different than what you're going to experience, or probably already are experiencing. And then, people start to gauge themselves off you. I mean, and how I know this is because Dr. Jelinek is like, he's the person I'm always checking to make sure he's okay. Right? Because he's 30 years or 20 years ahead of me, or 25.
Okay.
And so if he's doing good, then I'm always like, phew, like it's still working. And he's 70 and he's kicking butt and doing stuff. You know what I mean? But I know that there's like however many people checking my Facebook just to make sure I'm doing well.
Well, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Well, I have to tell you, Matt, I don't identify myself as having MS.
Interesting.
I just don't. You know, I tell people I healed it because I feel like I have. Yeah, I really feel like I've healed it. I had a medical medium tell me, if you believe in mediums, she said she scanned my brain, and she said she didn't see any lesions at all. She goes, Adrienne, you healed your lesions. I've also interviewed people who have also healed all of their lesions.
Well, I mean, healing is possible, but it's, you know, and I actually like the idea of the concept of functional cure, but I'm not a believer that, you know, if you go back to a certain lifestyle, I think it's going to come back.
Oh yeah. I'm not saying it can't come back.
Yeah.
You know, if I change my ways again.
Yeah.
But no, I have to tell you too, like as soon as I changed my diet, and I stayed on that diet, I felt better than I did. I'm 46 years old. My birthday was yesterday.
Right.
But I felt better after I healed myself than I did when I was in my 20s.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. That makes complete sense to me. And again, I'm definitely not trying to say you're not healed. Like that, I think healing for sure. I believe in healing. I've seen it. Like I know it's possible. That's how I'm living it. But I do caution people in regards to you can't go back. And you know, I've met a lot of people down on the line who go back, and I've seen a lot of things that aren't good when they do.
Yeah.
So
you can't go back to what your habits were before. You just can't.
No.
If you want to continue to live a healthy life.
Yeah. And once that immune system is on, now whether it's the virus that triggers it, you know, I don't know. I mean, we don't, or like it's driving it, we don't know. But once it's on, I think it's on. And so then the question becomes, what are you going to do to control it?
Yeah. All right, Matt, I'm going to ask you, because I emailed you and I said, okay, what's the one question you wish people would ask you and they don't?
Oh man. Sorry, I apologize. I've been traveling, so I didn't actually I normally just like to answer.
Or is there something that, you know, you like to tell people that you never get asked about?
Yeah, I mean, I think the one thing I don't think ask enough about is just like how to do it. Like the actual pragmatic day-to-day steps of it. That I get like the broad ones, but I don't get people don't really dig into like, okay, how does the day start? And then what do you do? Because one thing that I think people need to understand is that like, once you step towards a whole new life towards optimal health, once you decide to do that, you might lose everything that you currently have. Like you might have to change your job. You might have to change relationships. You might have to change, like there's so much change that comes once you step towards your own optimal health. It's sometimes paralyzing to people.
Yeah.
And I try my absolute best to share, like, it doesn't start with a big change. Like, yeah, it starts with cleaning out those are big. I get that. Those are good, but it's what's the next day look like after that? And it's that real world. You wake up and it's like, you have to make breakfast and you have to like make time for the exercise. You have to make time to meditate. So you need to be, the amount of time you need to create in your new life is huge.
Yeah.
So then the only way to do that is you have to subtract things. You have to take things away to be able to amplify those other categories. People don't really ever challenge me that way or ask me about how I do that. I try to share it. But it's like, how do you add those extra hours into your week? And like,
Mhm.
what does it feel like to like maybe have to walk away from your job that doesn't allow that, or
Yeah.
toxic relationships that are really, really weighing you down? Like that's all that's so hard. Like this is not an easy process.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, and then when you find it, what does that life look like? Like, like what is it like? And I
Yeah.
don't, and I think about it sometimes if I'm at the gym on a Friday night at like 7 or something, and there's like 4 of us in the whole place. I'm like, this is what it looks like. It's
Right?
not, it's not glamorous. It's not like, it's, or I'm in a hotel room, my mini fridge is stuffed. I'm like, this is not a glamorous life, but for me, I'm also not disabled. And like, these are the trade-offs.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and like what you said about, what does your daily life look like? Do you love your job or is it stressing you out all day long? Your relationship, is it bringing you joy? Do you actually
Mhm.
love your partner and adore your partner? Or is it stressing you out? Like, yeah, there's so many components of living a healthy life that people don't realize.
And what I try to share, and this is really hard for people to believe, is like the better you get, the better the world for you gets. And you got to trust it. You got to trust it. You have to have faith that like that's how this world works.
Hmm.
So, but you got to step into taking care of yourself first. And that sounds selfish, but I always tell people that is not selfish. What's selfish is like when you destroy yourself, that then the impact you have on other people. So you take care of yourself, you become incredibly healthy. You will be shocked at how great that is for the people around you. Like it is the biggest gift you can give someone, in my opinion,
Yeah,
is to
agreed.
is to show up healthy and to show up happy and to show up positive. Like if you can do that, like who cares if you have a job you hate? You know what I mean? Like it'll all like take care of itself. But
Yeah.
you got to step into it. Is that too much or?
No, that's great. All right. So I want to ask you,
Sure.
what happened in between? So you're a filmmaker,
Yeah.
you make documentaries, right? So tell us
Mhm.
what happened kind of in the middle and tell us what documentary is coming out about MS. Like,
Yeah.
tell me
Okay.
how your life changed kind of in the middle.
Sure. Yeah, so that's a great question. So that was a huge turning point in my life when that film came out in 2018. So that that was it changed my entire reality.
I'm
Um,
sure.
so like I'm still feeling the effects of it. Like it's my whole world changed. And so that and actually the next film is kind of about that.
Okay.
And so the making of the movie, it's a very the film is called Recovery Mission. It's coming out hopefully this fall. And it's really about like the making of the film and then the outcome of it. And then what kind of has happened. So it's not necessarily about MS, but it's about like this film got made and here's what happened. But it's also very dark because it wasn't all good. I can share that
Oh,
with you.
oh yeah.
It wasn't all great. But at the end of the day, it does end well. But to answer your question, I took over. I'm president of the charity now, so that was a big shift. And we've got, our outreach is substantial. I mean, we have a podcast. That has really changed. So we have a huge global reach now. And then the muscular acoustic modulation is a massive thing for us. We're trying to get this information to people as much as we possibly can, get the technology approved in North America. I'm working with Harvard right now to raise money for a project on a pharmaceutical, hopefully a solution. That relationship has now happened, which I'm really excited about. And here we are. And so it's been a lot. I mean, the next film we're hoping is going to really reach a different community. It deals with addiction, primarily is its primary thrust. So it's going to hit a different community. But at the same time, addiction in the MS community is enormous. People don't necessarily know that. And so we're getting into that. And that's kind of the plan. And so our goal is like to release the movie, hopefully get another big bump in regards to exposure. I want to get this Harvard research done. From my perspective, having traveled the world and had the access to the top universities and the top doctors, it is the most promising thing that we've got. And so I'm all in. And so I just need to raise the money, and that has been very challenging. So, and I'd love to be able to enter my 60s with this MS behind us all. That's kind of the goal. So I can spend the remaining 40 years ish of life on the planet for me, with hopefully my grandkids, if I'm lucky, if I'm blessed, like that would be great. And then, not have to think about this. I know that sounds maybe horrible, but like I would like to move on.
Yeah, right. Live your life, retire, move to Costa Rica.
I'm never retiring. I'm never going to retire.
You're never retiring. Okay.
Never. I even wrote my wife a letter and said, I'm not doing this. So you got to think about that. But like, I'm never retiring to the day I die. But
so Matt, is this movie the same length as Living Proof?
Yeah, it's an hour and a half. It's 90 minutes. We actually just finished it. It focuses, again, addiction is a big part of it. A big part of it's muscular acoustic modulation, and a big part of it is like what happened to people after they saw the movie. So we travel, we meet all these people who saw the film and what happened to them. What happened when they implemented it. I wish I could. It's really hard. I mean, it's like, the stories, it's huge in Bulgaria, if that makes sense. Like in Mexico, we've been able to reach, far and wide, which is great, I think. And again, exciting. I think, the internet was so huge for us to be able to do that.
Yeah, good for you. All right. So is there anything else you want to share that you haven't?
I guess finally, for people watching this, like mshope.com, that's where the information is. We've got the free PDFs, the free videos, it's all free, the free cookbook. Feel free to visit it. That's my personal phone number on the website. That's my personal email. I try to get back to everybody who, I'm not great at this, but I tried my best to get back to everybody with at least an answer, or at least guide them to, where our resources are. And that anybody can do this. You can do it. And that if you can see these negative events in your life as a catalyst for good and change, that's the way to think. And then get out there and make the best life possible.
I love it. I was going to ask you to give us one last positive message, but I think you just did.
Yeah, I hope so. You only have so much time. You're all on a train that's going to crash. And when you realize that, you have a good time on the train. Yeah.
So I tell people to live a life of purpose and joy.
Exactly.
As much as you can.
Exactly.
Perfect. Well, thank you, Matt.
Thank you for doing this.
Yeah, you're welcome.